Brownie, special victory tonight considering the circumstances you're under at different stages there.
Yeah, look, I thought we started the game pretty well and looked pretty good, and then it looked like she was going to be 6-all half time. Then we spent a fair bit of the game with 12 with a few sim binnings, and to hang in there, the period after half time, I thought we certainly tidied up our defence a bit in the second half, and to be able to find ways to stop Cronulla, then create some opportunities and take them was pleasing.
Well, that's one of the most pleasing things, right? The fact that you're able to find ways to get yourself into the battle, particularly down a man.
Yeah, it was. Cronulla sort of in the second half early on, they had a few sets in our line. We only had 12, and I thought we handled them pretty well. And I thought, just as a whole, defensively, I thought the boys tidied themselves up in the second half, and there's some things there where some blokes come up with some pretty sort of special efforts, which you need, and then do enough to then get back in and do enough to win was very pleasing.
What did you make of Kane Evans' sim binnings, mate? You attempted to hook him? Or?
Yeah, well, obviously, you get the win, and we'll get through that more on Monday, but it was probably the most disappointing thing was we had some senior players, I suppose, engaging with Will, and as I explained to a couple of them at half-time, who'd lost their ways, that Will can engage in it and still play reasonably well, and our blokes were engaging in it, not playing well, so it had a bad effect on our football team. We pretty much leaked 2 tries because Will was a bit smarter than us, and that was the disappointing thing. Yeah, so sim binnings do happen. We don't want them to happen, but yeah, Will was a little bit smarter than a couple of our experienced blokes. But one of them tidied himself up a lot in the second half, and Kano had his moments, I suppose. But we got the win at the end of the day, and that's what it's all about.
The 1-2 punch of Aden Fanua-Blake and also Matt Lodge was certainly another good platform for the team to play off.
Yeah, look, they're both higher quality players, Corey. Like Aden obviously plays for Tonga, and if not, I suppose Matt's past him, he probably would have represented it at a higher level without a doubt. And they've both got experience. They're both mature players, and it certainly helps our younger ones. And I thought Aden in particular in the second half was probably the standout player on the field. Is
there a challenge for you as a coach to alternate those players to keep one on the field the whole time?
Well, we have spoke about that at times. Are we doing it the best way? Unfortunately, again, Lodges hasn't been here long, and Aden's had a couple of injuries, and so they've probably only played 3 or 4 games together. And have we used them 100% right, Corey? Maybe not. It's to have one of them on the field all the time. Maybe a better way to go, but we're probably still learning a bit there ourselves. And Bunty Affol's been going really well for us in his sort of periods of the game. So it's something that we probably need to look at.
Chanel Harris-Tavita got through the game quite well and had a nice steady performance.
Yeah, look, we've got a lot of confidence. Chanel's going to be a good long-term player for us. Unfortunately, he's just hasn't really played this year, unfortunately. So again, to have him on the field, it was certainly nice and steady for us, and we would be hopeful that as the weeks go, he will keep improving.
Another good performer for your team this afternoon was Josh Curran. Just a welfare check on Josh. He took a pretty fair tumble at the end there. I'm not sure if you heard about it.
The boys just showed me just then, yeah. Look, the great thing with Josh is he's a football player, so he plays for the Indigenous All-Stars, so most of our Indigenous boys, the Koori boys, most of them, they understand rugby league, they sort of appear where the ball appears, and Josh had some other parts of his game which he's had to work really hard at, and he's getting better in some other parts of the game. The offensive part of the game appears very, very easy for him, and he's really worked hard in his defence, and he's sort of a player now that when we don't have him, we miss him, and we knew we didn't have him last week, and we didn't have him, and he was in lockdown for a while. When he got on the wrong aeroplane, so that's probably the biggest credit I can probably say about Josh is when he doesn't play, we actually notice he's not out there now.
Bruce Walsh, man, he had his fingerprints all over that second half comeback. He really has shown you that he wants the ball when the moments are there to be taken.
Yeah, look, Reese's obviously very talented, very confident in what he knows he can do with the ball in his hand. We were really impressed with his defensive game, in particular in the second half when we only had 12 men. He organised our line probably as good as he's done since he's been with us. That's been a real focus area for him. With the ball, he's hard in the mouth. We let him sort of go, to be honest with you, and he sort of puts himself in some situations and he can do some special things. And as time goes and experience comes, he'll learn when to play and when not to play. But that's a bit of trial and error. But he certainly makes our football team better, and that's what it's all about, bringing players to your club that help you improve.
Well done, mate.
Thanks, fellas.